Good day, everyone. Um, Yesterday we learned how the web works. Today we are learning how to build the structure of a web page. Think of an HTML as the skeleton of a website. If HTML is weak, the entire website collapse, right? Um, this is like since you understand the basics, right, and what is going on if you try to type a domain name or a URL, you already understand that it's making a request from a server and the server is serving it back by rendering the right files inside it. Those files inside it, like I said in the yesterday, contains HTML, either HTML, CSS, or JS, right? But the normal file for a web page should have HTML inside and CSS alongside with JS, right? They are the component that are made up of a web page. And sometimes some web page does not have JS, depending on how or the functionality that is inside the website, right? But there's no possibility that a website will not have HTML and CSS because a website that does not have CSS with it obviously means that it's not going to look well because that's what the CSS is doing. The CSS is doing the job of styling it, making sure that it's well appealing and it's looking visually attractive, right? Because HTML is just like a structure. It's just like having a building and you're having a whole structure with no painting, with no light, with no interior inside. It's just bricks all over the place and irons. So that's what HTML is, right? So we're gonna be moving on to learning the semantics, the HTML tags and hierarchies, media, and how to build a multi-page navigation in this model. So let's get right onto it. Let's get right onto it. We're going to be writing some code today, right? Just to get our hands dirty, right? So in this slide, you're going to understand the basic HTML structure. You're going to understand how to create heading and paragraph, right? You're going to understand how to add images and you're going to understand how to create links and also build multi-page navigation, right? By the end of this module, you should be able to create a simple web page from scratch, right? So let's go on to the definition of HTML. HTML is simply hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language, right? Some people call HTML programming language, but it's a wrong definition. It's a wrong definition. HTML is a markup language, not a programming language. And the difference between a markup language and the programming language is markup language are used for creating web pages, defining structure via elements like tags. They mainly use tags to render text, links, and media in browser. It acts as backbone for web content, often combined with CSS, styling, and JS, right? Um, it's not really a programming language, so to say, because they are just set of rules and symbols known as tags, right? Inserted into text documents to define structure, right? Unlike programming language um, a set of instructions, right, that perform complex logic, right? HTML does not perform complex logic, but HTML just instructs your browser on how to display some processed content and all of that. So this explains the difference between a markup language and a programming language, right? This explains the difference between them, right? So let's move on from that. Um, yeah, what does HTML tells your browser? HTML tells your browser what is the heading. It tells your browser what is a paragraph, and it tells your browser what is an image. It does not style the page. It does not make it attractive. It only structure the content. That's what HTML does. So look at HTML as the building frame, CSS as paint and decoration, JavaScript as the movement, like the electricity inside, you know, the whole building, right? So, yeah. So I'm going to show you how a basic HTML structure looks like. This is how a basic HTML structure looks like. It starts with what we call a doc type HTML, right? It starts with what we call a doc type HTML. What is a doc type HTML? It tells the browser it is HTML5. There's a version of HTML called HTML5. That's what that doc type is saying, right? HTML itself, which is the next one that says HTML lang equals to AN. What it means is that that's the root element. You need to start a, a structure with the root element, which is the HTML itself, right? And followed by the head. The head tag is simply the metadata, right? While the next one inside, which is going to be inside the head, is called title. This defines the description of the document you are writing. Like it defines the name of the web page you are writing. It's going to be on top. If you ever notice that if you enter a browser, you're going to see something like a title on the tab. That's what the title is doing. That title you are seeing on top is controlled by this tag called title, right? So, and the next one is the body. The body is simply the all visible content you can see. Like now, you can see welcome to web dev. This is the paragraph of the text, HTML defined structure. That is actually the body. Yeah, that's the actually body. Everything inside the body is what you can see, right? So if you ask me what part do users see in HTML, it is the body. It is the body. So, right, then let's take it one by one. Heading and paragraph. Heading and paragraph are written inside the body, right? We have different kind of heading. We have the H1 heading, we have the H2 heading, down to H6. And we also have the tag for paragraphs. So what you'll be working on mostly on HTML is tags, 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 tags. And these tags, we have heading tag, we have paragraph tag, we have image tag, link tag, and so much like that. But to start your programming, you need to what? First start with the root element, right? Which is HTML, the basic structure. You first write the HTML, you follow by the head, then follow by the title inside the head, followed by the body, then you close it with your tags. So what I mean is that if you look at this particular element here, right? They start with HTML, right? Look at it down. It ends with the HTML slash HTML. Now, ed, it ends with ed here. So I'm going to tell you how to understand this by going more practical to do it for you. So what we're going to do is to install a software called VS Code. That's the software we're going to be using to write our code. So we're going to install the VS Code software. And yeah, so let's go right away to that. I'm going to install VS Code. So all you have to do now is to search your VS Code on your browser. VS Code. Search your VS Code. Once you search it, so you click on it and download it for your kind of machine that you're using. I mean, your kind of operating system that you're using. So all you have to do is just click on if you are using Windows or Mac and download the software, right? If you're having problem downloading the software, let me know. So, right. So once you click this, it's going to download it automatically. Once it downloads it, you are meant to install it, right? This is it. You're meant to install it. And let me know if you're having problem installing the software or there's anything you are not clear on installing it. Once you download it, you run the software and install it. It will bring some prompts. Just run it till it gets to the finish line, right? So that's how that works. Once you install it, you're gonna have this environment here. You're gonna have this environment here. You're gonna have this environment here, right? This kind of environment, you're gonna have it. So all you have to do is once you have this environment, once you open the software, this is what you have. You now click on new file, right? So I want to create a new file, right? So that I can start from the beginning and you can understand what I'm saying, right? So a new file. You're gonna name your new file. You're going to name your new file, right? So you call it index. So the reason why I'm calling my new file index, you can call your new file about us, home page, anyone. But in a server, the first page that a server reads inside a web folder is an index file. Then you can have other files like about us, contact us, like that, like that, like that. So, so I'm going to name it index so that signifies that is my first page, right? So index is always the first page. So you create index, so you go and save it in a particular portion of your folder um in your folder inside the document or anywhere. So you create it. Once you create it, because I've created it before, it's saying I should replace. So let's start the structure now. So we said the first component is what? The doc type element, right? Once you start that, then you continue, you start with your root element, which is what? The HTML itself. Automatically, once you write it, it will close it, right? Then everything you must write must be within that tag. You can see the cursor is within the open tag and the close tag of HTML. The open tag is the one without no slash. The close tag is the one with the slash. So you break it down so that everything you write will be within it, right? Followed by the what? The component head, right? Followed by head. Head also has a closing tag. There's no tag that does not have a closing tag. Once you open the tag, you're expected to close it. So, but what this programming language, programming software, VS Code does is that once you open the open tag, it will close it for you. So you are supposed to write within, in between the two, right? So you break it down to so that you can write another tag inside, which is title. Yeah. So we're going to define our title as this is my first web page, right? That's it. So that's your title for your web page, right? Title for your web page. Then now the next tag cannot be written within the head. The only tag that can be written within the head is the title and some other things which we are going to talk about. But we need to move on to write our body tag, right? So our body tag is going to be written inside the HTML root, but not inside the head tag. So you move out from the closing tag of the head so that I was within it before. This is within it. This is outside it, right? So you come outside here and write your what? Your body tag. You close it, it will close. So every component, every visual component that you want people to see must be written within your body tag. So yeah, so I'm dragging it down. So I want to write everything within it now. So we've talked about heading and paragraph. That's the first thing for us to write. So we're going to define our heading. So we can have different kind of heading. Like I said, H1, H2, H3. What this thing is telling you is that there are different size of heading. There's a bigger one, which is the A1, H1. There's a lesser one that is just a little bit bigger to H1, H2, like that, just depending on the size. So let's write our heading first. Let's say um, my web dev program. We're going to write for H2 also. So that we can see how this will look like, right? Down to H6. Let me say H6 now. So so it goes from H2 to H6. H2, H3, we have H3 too. So let me just copy this and paste. So let me just copy this. Do H3 here and change this to H3. Don't forget, once you open, you close. You make sure that it is the same tag you open. This one should be like small letter. Yeah. So, yeah. So we have H4 to H5. So you can test when you are working and see how all of them look like. And we also have a paragraph that we can say we want to start a paragraph and write my first paragraph. My first paragraph. So once you have this, it means you are being successful to write a good body content that people can see on your what? On your web browser. So the first thing for you to do now is to go and view how it looks like. So let's try to look at how it looks like. Our body, our it our our index. So this is our index. Let's try to run it and see how it looks like. Can you see? So this is how it looks like. You can see the heading, the first one, which is the H1, is biggest, followed by the next one, followed by the smallest one, which is the A6, followed by H3, and all of that. And this is your first paragraph written here. So if you want to start the paragraph, you start with your P tag. So let's go back to our presentation. So that is how a normal HTML structure should look like. And if you want to write a visible content inside, you write it within the body and all of that. Let me know as you are trying it if you have any issue or any blockage at any point, right? So let's move on to how to display image and links and some navigations. Need to move fast now. There's also one thing I need to let you know that search engines like Google, like Bing, pay attention to your headings on your website. So they pay attention to your heading. So the best practice to use is always use one H1 heading per page. So if you have a page, you just use a whole H1 as your full heading. Then you can use paragraph as the next component. Like if you want to write a statement now, a sentence that is quite much, you don't use any of the heading, you use paragraph to write that. But if you want to write like a topic that's bolder and all of that, so you use any of the H tags. You can either use H1, H2, H3, but obviously H1 is the biggest, so you can use H1. Yeah. So let's go to image, how to link our image. How do we link our image? There's a tag called IMG. In short, image, IMG, and there's it, IMG SRC. So what you're trying to tell your browser is that image source, which is imgsrc, image source equals to wherever your image is, wherever your image is, like your image directory. Yeah, that's how to link an image inside a web. So now, the first thing you are supposed to do is to first, if you want to create your web folder, you have to create your web folder first. So your web folder will just be a folder. So let's go ahead and create our web folder. Let's go ahead and create our web folder. So I'm going to create my web folder here. I'm going to say new folder. So I'm going to call this folder web. I'm going to move my index inside the web. So inside this web, so this is where we have my image. So I'm going to create a folder here called image folder. So that any image I want to do, I'm going to save it here. Right. I'm going to create it here. Then inside here, this is inside this folder is where I will store all my images, right? So that's how this works. So let's go ahead and store our image inside our image folder. Let's go ahead and do that. So, because we have to link the uh the image to it. So let's find a small image of a bus or a car. So let's download this. So we are saving it where? Inside our web folder called image. The file, the image file is not in JPEG. So you have to make sure that the 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 image you are downloading is in JPEG, right? Make sure it's in JPEG. So when I wanted to download it, I saw that it's not in JPEG. This is in JPEG now. JPEG. So you have to make sure your file format is in JPEG. If your image is not in JPEG, you might have problem viewing it, right? So I just saved it. I just saved it inside the folder. So let's go and confirm if it has saved image. Yeah, it's already there. So the name of our file is what? R, right? So you can change it to car. You can change it to car. So now let's go and link it. Don't forget your name of the name of your folder. The name of your folder is what? Image, right? So let's go and link it now in our code, right? Let's go and link it in our code. So after paragraph, you can have the image now. So I said the image tag is what? Image img src, which is image source, right? So once you click this source, it's going to generate an equal to sign for you to put wherever the source is. So you cannot tell it that, okay, it is inside image folder slash what is the name of the picture. You cannot tell it that the name of the picture is car.jpg. That's all. That's how to link your image to your page, right? To your web page. So you must also state what is called ALT, right? ALT is like a description for your image. It's like a description for Google search engine and other search engine to have an accessibility to your image. Yeah. So let's have a ALT for it, a description for it. So a description for it will be equal to description. Description. So you can write my car as your description, right? And then you close the tag. Close the tag. That's all. this does not have like a closing tag like the rest, like slash. No, his own closing tag is just this. So just for you to write the image src and all of that. So that's what the element is doing. Other tags like p, heading, those ones have a closing tag, but this is just an element for you to link your image, and that's it. And that's it. So I've told you what src means. Src is the image file part. ALT is the description and all of that. ALT is very important for visually impaired users and SEO. It's just to describe your image. And what happens if the image file name is wrong? The answer to it is it will not load, right? It will not load. So let's go and check what we have linked now and see maybe it will load, right? Let's go and check what we have done. Let's reload now. Can you see what is happening here? It's saying it cannot see our what? Our car, right? So probably the file format is wrong, right? The file format is simply wrong. So let's go and check what is happening so that we can troubleshoot. This is why we are here, so that we can understand why this is not showing, right, as inside. So let's go to our, um, yeah, to go and check. Yeah, we have car here inside the image. We have car here inside the image. We already move our file inside a web folder. So that web folder, let's go and open our file inside the web folder. Let's cancel this because we've already moved it. Yeah. So let's cancel this. I'm going to open our file inside the web folder we just did. So we're going to have to open our file there. Let's go and open our file because we don't have index outside again. We have it inside here now. So let's go and open it. Yep, we have it here now. Yeah. So the one that we wrote the other time was outside. Yeah. So you should understand that. And image was written, say, so yeah. So let's quickly write our image src. Uh, the folder is image and the name of the is car. So, and we have the description to be the description to be my car. And we can now run it now. Let's close the tag. No, close it outside. Yes. So let's close. Just write the code the way I'm writing it and try to understand. If you don't have any question, please raise it on the group. Thank you. So I'm saving it now and I'm running it immediately. Right. So I'm saving it and I'm running it immediately. So this, can you say, this is our car here, right? Can you see it has been displayed? This is our car. So like I told you, if the image file is wrong, it will not load. So let's change the image file to see if it will load, right? Let me say car A. Since our car is not named car A, let's try to view it. Can you see it's not showing? Unless I change the file name to car A inside the folder. So it's going to see it now. So you go ahead and run it. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead and run it. Sorry for that. Yeah. So that's how that works. So let's move ahead to our time is going. Let's move ahead to links and navigation. Links and navigation uh is meant for you to link your your external or internal links. We have two links. We can have internal link external link, right? Um, internal link is within your website. External link is outside your website. So you can see websites that are like google.com, facebook.com, Instagram. Those are external links. Internal links are links that you created inside your web folder. Those are internal links, right? So, and you have to connect those pages together. How do you do that? So we're going to write a simple way to link a, a page to your first page, right? A simple way to link. You can see it here. This is image RFC. This is a good example of an external link. You just linked, right? So we're going to see, I'm going to write that now in our code so that you can understand how to do that. So I'm going to it now to go and link a, I'm going to link us to an external link. Let's say we have another page. Let's create another page and we can link to another external link. So let's first create a page first. Let's create a page first. New file, new file. We can call this about us or about.html. That's our new file. So we create this new file and save it inside our web folder. Don't forget, we are working within the folder. Create it inside your web folder alongside with your index. So in this one too, let's have this whole structure here, copy and paste it here, right? Copy and paste it here. Yes, good. Right, let's have it here, copy and paste here. Yeah, but our title for this one will be my about page, my about, so that it will be different, my about web page, right? So we now want to link this about with index as an internal link because it's within it, it's not external. So how to write your your element for linking. You already know how to write your element for image source. If you want to link your image, now we want to link a page to another page. Let's connect them together now. So you're going to start with an element called A, right? A is an anchor tag, Y followed by href, and href is a destination tag, right? It's a destination tag. So what you do is to say equals to, once you say equals to, whatever link that you are doing, if you are linking a internal or external, you're going to drop it inside this quotation, right? So since I'm linking an internal page, I'm going to write my internal page name. It has already identified it. That's why you're using this VS Code. It's a very good software. So yes, link it about. Once you do that, you what? Automatically close the tag. Once you close the tag, you give it a title within the tag, right? You give it a title, you can call it about us, and that is all about it, right? So let's link an external. Let's link an external. An external, just do a href equals to the link from outside, http. You can say https, or you can just say google.com. There's no need to put google.com, the external link, google.com. That's it. That's it. And once you're done, you close the tag and you write within it and say visit Google. Visit Google. Yes, that's it. Right. So we have linked an index to about us page. So in the about us page, you can copy this link from here and go and drop it inside your about and link your about to your index. You can also link your about to your index. So copy, you can link this about to your index. Let's call this one will be index now, index.html. Then you can call this my first page or home page. Let's call it home page. Home page. Home. Let's just call it home. So let's go and check what we have done and run it. So yeah, you just refresh it here. Can you see? So you have your about us and you have your visit Google. If you click on this, it will go to Google. If you click on this, it will go to your about us page. This is our about us page. You can see the title, my about web page. And you can don't forget that we have linked also the about to home. So we can go back to our home from here too. That's how to link. That's how to link. That's how to link. So yeah, I think we are done um for this this module. We've been able to link 3 pages together. We've been able to link some pages together, link external website together, and I think we just have to touch the multi-page body page structure. If you want to create a multi-page structure, how do you do it? How do you do it? Um, how do you do that? So there's I think let me check. Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to link it, if you want to link a nav different pages together inside a page, right? How do you do it? You can see this nav here. So if you want to have it as it is here, you can see the way they have it in this side here, right? So that they are listed together. So you start with your navigation menu and close it to your navigation menu, and you have all the menus there. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go up now to my code to do that, right? So, so what I'm going to do is that before this my body tag, I want to have my navigation on top. Don't forget that everything happens within your body tag. So I'm closing it now. So I'm going to have my first page here inside it as my first navigation, followed by the second one, which is my about, right? Yeah. So yes, I'm going to cancel this. So, so I've linked so you can have another page called contact us too. You can have another one called contact. So you call that file contact.html. So we can create a new file here called contacts.html. Create it. Once you create it, it will ask you to save it. You save it. Once you save it, you can just copy all the code here and come and put it here. Yeah. So everything is linked together. So you call the title of this contact page, my contact web page. Yes, just change it to it. So yeah. So you can change the content for them later, which is within here. You can change all the content here. Yes. So in our about, we have this now. So let's copy. We don't have our navigation in our index. So let's go and put it there. Let's go and put it there. Yes. So we now have a complete. We can cancel this to this. Just leave this external linking here. So let's go and check what we have done. This is our index now. Can you see? We have home, home, home. Why do we have home, home, home? That's the title we give to all our link inside home. So let's go and change them. So can you see home, 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 home? That's the name we give to. So the first one, which is the index, is home. The second one is about, and the third one is contacts. Right. See, let's check it. Good. So if you go to home page, we are here. If you go to about, we are here. So if you go to about page, you have home, home too. So you go to about your about page, your about page to correct that. This about HTML here. So you correct it. Home, then you have about, then you have contacts. That's it. So you have the same thing for this also. The contact page, about, yes. Yes. So let's go and check it. You save and then you run it. can you see we have home, about, contact? So if we go to our contact page too, we have home, about. So you can play around every or one of them and all of that. So that's how you do a multi-page structure, a multi-page navigation, connecting different pages together, and you're good, right? So after this module, you're gonna have an assessment. So um uh, try to do it and then submit, right? See you in the next module. See you in the next class. Thank you very much. Yeah.